Okay. Okay. Now we're going to talk about market research. This is my favorite stuff. Honestly, I enjoy doing this the most because I feel my muscle building. And so, what we're going to talk about right now, I'm not going to actually do a live session with you. That'll come in the next video. I'm just going to show you how I do the sessions, right? First, we have to lay the ground floor. I think this will be a really, really helpful session for everyone that's watching because, again, I wish somebody laid this foundation for me when I was first starting with TikTok Shop, with making content, with expanding my knowledge away from just Amazon and expanding my marketing knowledge because Amazon is fantastic. It is so important to this piece of the puzzle, and so is content now. So is social media. So is TikTok, um, Facebook, Instagram, etc. We're going to talk about TikTok really today, but in market research, we're gonna dive into all of them. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is this is one of my daily non-negotiables. So from Monday to Friday, sometimes the weekends, but again, I know that's not the standard for everyone. I could work all day long. Um, and I know for some of us we can too, but also everyone's schedule is different. So right now I'm just talking about Monday to Friday, okay? So from Monday to Friday, this is a non-negotiable to me. How do I identify a non-negotiable? To me, it means I'm doing this every day because it's moving my business forward, even if it doesn't feel like it. And sometimes it feels like it doesn't. But the reason that I do it every day is because I know it's building muscle, right? Like if you work on your biceps every day, some days it might feel like what is actually happening, but then over weeks, over months, you're like, wow, I have massive biceps now, right? So that's how I view market research because it's so important to actually do this every single day. It's a muscle. And yeah, I can just feel my muscle building because I'm starting to get into flow state when I do it. It starts to become more natural. I don't get distracted as much, right? I mean, with anything new, there's going to be distractions, or your brain's going to be like, what are we doing here? It's not as instant gratification. So, long story short, I wanted to say that because I think it's important to lay the foundation with why I believe this is so important. Okay, let's dive in. So the first three things that I do, like high level, and then we'll go into actually what that means, is I do these three things. I block off 90 minutes. Again, that can, for you, if that works, great. If not, you want to do 10, 10, 10, right? 10 minutes for each three, that's fine. Whatever works for you. But what I do is I do these three things every single day. I train. Okay, I'm going to talk too because I know my handwriting is amazing. Um, but, anyways, I train, I review, and I research. Okay? I train, I review, I research. Now, I also can't take credit for this. This is from my meta ads coach, Nick Therio. He's awesome, and I took this from him because he's helped me really rethink my market research in terms of how do I view advertising. And let me just tell you something, and we'll dive into what each of these mean in a second, but it is absolutely incredible how much information we have now more than ever. Like I was at an event the past weekend, and Maria Went is her name, and I've talked about her a lot. She's awesome, and she talked about like how inexpensive marketing is now compared to years ago. Not like even 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It cost millions of dollars to advertise on TV, on billboards, on newspaper, right? Like that, there was no social media, there was no internet. So the fact that we can go and do market research every single day, and I'm going to show you how, and then that which allows us to then speak directly to our customers by posting content, amazing, right? So I just wanted to remind everyone how much of an opportunity we have, that I have, that we all have. So every single day I do train, review, research. Now train for me, I know I put it first, but I actually do this last. Like all of it is training, right? You're training your mind, but training, and this is how Nick talks about it, is listening to podcasts, watching this course, right? Whether you're driving to work, or you're driving to start working on this, or you're going for a walk, or you're working out, you can train all day long, right? It's just consuming content that's growing your knowledge. So for me, I love going on walks every single day, and I train during my walks. What does that mean? I'm watching courses from Nick. I'm watching courses from Maria. I'm watching podcasts from entrepreneurs that I look up to, or I'm listening, right? Like at the end of the day, I'm listening and consuming that and building my muscle. And Robin Sharma, one of my favorite authors, talks about when you're in the car. That's such a great, instead of blasting music or listening to a podcast that's about romance, and sometimes that's fun, right? Or like a rom-com audiobook. We need that, right? We do need that, but look at all those pockets of time to train your mind. And he calls it like car university. And I've always loved that. For me, it's walking university, okay? So anyways, trained is number one. I fit that into my day however it works. If it's the first thing you want to do because you work out first, or if it's the last thing you do because you have time to yourself at the end, do that. But I train my brain every single day. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is I review. Now, what does review look like? I'm going to go into that in a second, but for me, it's reviewing my videos. Okay, Tina in our group, shout out Tina, hope you get to watch this soon. She said right after the call we had on Tuesday, today's Thursday, she mentioned that she went and looked at her videos, right, and analyzed which ones got the most views, which ones didn't get the most views. And for the ones that did get the most views and engagement and likes, because there's always going to be one, right? One more than all the others. Even if you've only posted 10 videos, there's still going to be one that's probably an outlier. And so reviewing means analyzing yourself. You're watching game tape, as the athletes, call it when I was in college and I was playing soccer. After every single game, we would watch our game tape. And sometimes it wasn't the best, right? Like sometimes it was not fun because you didn't play a good game or your video might not have done well. But review, because it's the only way you can analyze yourself and understand what worked, what didn't, why, and then how can you remake it. Back to the story about Tina, she said she saw one of her best videos. She remade it, but really focused on the hook part. And you're going to hear me talk about hook all the time because the hook is everything. And she made the hook much more pain aware, problem aware. And that's those are my favorite hooks because that's actually what gets people to stop scrolling. So instead of like, hey everyone, here's a brand new book that, your brother might like. That wasn't her video. I'm just coming up with something. She took probably, more average video and instead added a much stronger hook. And you can only do that by doing market research, by understanding what hooks to talk about. But Tina clearly did and reviewed that and remade it with a much more problem-aware focus, right? If I feel the difference here of, here's a great book that your brother might like or your sister might like versus this is the number one thing that is tearing brothers and sisters apart, and it's not what you think. I just came up with that on the spot, right? But that's a hook that would get me to be like, huh? Like, I would much more stop and watch that one versus the other, okay? So problem-aware hooks are fantastic. That's kind of off-topic golden nugget, but I just wanted to share. Shout out Tina. Great stuff there. So we're going to review our videos. In summary, review our videos. And if you're watching this, you're like, Lexi, I don't have any videos. We'll post some videos, right? If you don't have anything to review, fine. You will. That means you gotta get going with the research, right? You gotta get going with research. You gotta get going with posting. We're solution focused here. I'm a problem solver, right? I always like to come up with solutions for better, for worse. I'm always solution oriented for better. So, if you say I don't have videos yet, then go and post. And then if you say I don't know what to post, that's why research is so important. Now, let's talk about research because review and train, pretty straightforward. I just said them, right? Research. Now I want to talk about research. I'm going to show you how I research because this is what I enjoy all of them, training and reviewing, but research is what gets my juices flowing because that's what unlocks creativity and new ideas, okay? So if you see me here, I'm just looking at my notes. All right, so the first thing, review and research go hand in hand. So I did put here my videos. Like I will research my videos / review, right? Like that is always something I will do. As well as my affiliates, right? Affiliate videos. Because I want to understand what's working and why. And how can we make them better, okay? Then the next thing I'll do is I will look at viral videos on TikTok. And so you might be asking, how do I find viral videos on TikTok? Well, I might sound like a broken record because I've said this a ton, but I will continue to plant it in your brain that you're going to plug in keywords. in the search on TikTok, right? In your TikTok search, just like on any social media platform, you can search content, right? Dogs, golden retrievers, coffee. Maybe I'll talk about myself, right? Things that I like to consume. I'm more of a marketer now when I consume content versus a consumer. But, I could watch those videos. So if I wanted to look up a video with that, I would look up those keywords. I would engage with them. And what do I mean by engage? I mean like, comment, share. And then magic happens on your For You page, your Explore page, which is on the left-hand side. Again, in another video, I'm actually going to do this live. It might be a longer video, but I'm going to do it live. Right now, we're just going over a high level. I'm going to engage, and then on your For You page, your algorithm will start sharing related content. So it's a major hack, the ultimate hack on getting viral videos from your niche. So first step one, plug in keywords related to your book. What's the best thing to do? Pick up your book and start looking at things, right? Plug in keywords. Plug in keywords from your subtitle. Plug in the chapter title. Plug in, what are big problems that are in your book that your book solves. So start plugging in those keywords, and TikTok will start sharing related content if you engage in that content. You just gotta like some of those videos, and then your For You page will start showing you more stuff. Okay, so that's number 2. And then this one, this is a really, really, really good one. It might sound obvious, but comments. Comments are fantastic because views leave clues, and then sales leave evidence. But then, these are sayings that I like to say, but comments, these are the golden nuggets, because this is exactly, like, you can remake a viral video, but chances are other people have probably remade it too. But comments, those are for the real investigators of content, which is us. And if you look at comments, those are people that have probably are ideal customers to that niche, right? Like when I'm researching motherhood, fatherhood comments or content, it's usually dads commenting, sharing their real life experience, or moms sharing their concerns or their excitements. So this is how you can get inside of the customer's head, because you can see people engaging. And not only can you engage back with them, you can ask them questions if you want, but what I like to do is take their comments and make content about it, because it's so organic, right? It is somebody engaging in a viral video who is probably the ideal customer because that video found them, and it gives you gold to work with. So comments, do not sleep on. You can make great content with it. You can even make books with it, right? It's a way to understand what your customers want, like book concepts around it is what I'm saying. Okay, let's go to the last couple. Number 4 is FastMoss. I've gone over this in other videos. If you haven't watched that, please do. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because this is pretty straightforward. FastMoss or Callow data, they're the same thing. It's just seeing which videos on TikTok in your niche have converted into sales. And this is incredible, right? I do highly recommend this, but sometimes, for example, there's not a lot of pregnancy books out there. And that's great for, it's great for me, right? I can have first mover advantage. I can maximize my momentum there. So FastMoss might not be the best place if you're super niche, or there might not always be options there. So that's why I'm giving you these other 1, 2, 3 alternatives, because FastMoss I highly recommend, but there's always going to be other alternatives, which is what we're doing now. And sorry, my colors are changing. I just like colors. Okay, let's keep going. Next we have Instagram or YouTube Shorts or Facebook, right? This is the same concept, right? I do like to go on here. I'm not here all the time, if I'm being honest. Where do I spend most of my time? It's number 1, number 2, and number 3. But this is pretty straightforward. The same thing we're going to do here, we're also going to do the same things here. So Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, we're going to plug in keywords. We're going to see what content shows up. If it shows up, it clearly went viral or it did well. And we're going to engage in that. Then our For You page or our Explore page is going to start showing us related content. And then we can also look at the comments there, because that is the gold with it, right? It's going to give us content. It's going to give us comments. And then from there, we can create videos with it. Okay. Now let's talk about number 6. And the last one I have for right now. Boom. Let's go to number 6. Ooh, this is a good one. Yes. And I recently just started applying this. The Meta Ads Library. That is not how you spell an S. Meta Ads Library. Okay. Again, If you have no idea what that is, do not worry. I will show you in a video how to go through each and every one of these. But the meta ads library, literally, you can Google that, meta ads library, and it will show you. You click on it. The reason why I love it is because it shows you what ads on Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, what ads other companies are running and putting money behind, right? Like with Fastmoss, we can see what organically did well and what maybe is an ad, what maybe isn't. It's not 100% accurate in terms of that data there. But with Meta, I mean, this is 3 times bigger than TikTok, which is crazy, right? TikTok's 4 times bigger than Amazon. Amazon's 300 million. TikTok is 1 billion or 1.6. I don't know at this point. And then monthly users, by the way. And then Meta is 3.6 billion monthly users last time I checked. So it's 3 times the size as TikTok, which means there's going to be a lot more people marketing, a lot more customers. It's been around longer. Meta Ads Library is great. You can look up same concept, keywords related to your niche on Meta Ads Library. And I highly recommend doing that if you want some, creative inspiration. Again, you don't have to do all, right? You can be successful with just one of these. I mean, you have to do research and reviewing, so maybe you have to do 1 and 2. But at the end of, let's make that better. At the end of the day, view this as, wow, there's an abundance of resources that I have that I can really understand my customer more. And the last thing I'll say, and then we'll save this for another video, but I just want to leave you with one thing. We're going to erase. If you want to go back, please pause, go back to this video. But the last thing I'll say, because let's say you're like, wow, I'm all excited now, Lexi. I'm not going to wait for your next video to come out. I'm going to start my research. Please do that. Just keep in mind the 3 Ps. And this is my term that, or maybe somebody else has coined this, but this is my North Star when I'm looking, because there's so many things to think about. I like having frameworks, if you can't tell. So when I'm doing all that research, whether it's on Meta Ads Library, whether it's on even Google, right? Or whether it's on TikTok, or it's on Instagram, or YouTube, whatever it is, I like to look for what are the pleasures that they're talking about. What are the pain points that they're talking about? And this is why comments are so important. Like, this is where you understand in the comments, right? Because a video, you get one perspective. In the comments, you can get hundreds or thousands, right? And you can get all these different people giving you their 3 Ps. Their pleasures, their pains, and the person. Like, who is talking, right? Is it a first-time dad? Is it a grandpa? Is it a kid in high school? Is it a brand new mom? Like, you have to read the comments and make that hypothesis yourself, or you can click on their account and take a look. But if you're going to dive into market research right now, make this your North Star, right? I make this my North Star because I need a framework, right? Like, I can imagine it's overwhelming, and because it is to me, if I just went on a blank page on TikTok or Google on my laptop and I'm like, okay, I did everything that Lexi said, but what do I do with it? How do I analyze it, right? But keep the 3 Ps in mind, because if you can read a comment and see, oh, wow, they keep talking about how they really like this part of being a dad, or they really talk about how this part is so frustrating as a teacher, in elementary school. I'm just coming up with avatars. But the 3 Ps give you context and content to work with. So that's all for market research on the fundamentals. But in the next video, we're going to do a live session of doing market research together and how I do it for my brand.